Number 12, decide whether the two lines they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. When two lines they are parallel, I mean they have the same slope number. The slope number they are exactly the same. And the sign of the slope number they have the same sign as well. So if two lines they are parallel with this direction, I mean both of the line has a negative slope, and this one has a positive slope. So how can we define whether two lines they have the same slope? The easier way to define it, just rewrite the equation into the slope-intercept form. So when I rewrite the first equation, I have that for y equal negative 12x plus 16. Divide by 4, I get a y equal negative 3x plus 4. Now we do the equation number 2. 24x plus 8y equal 33. So that means 8y is equal x. Negative 24x plus 33. Divide by 8, you get y equal negative 3x plus 33 over 8. Now the slope number of the second equation is negative 3. And the slope number of the first equation is negative 3 as well. So these two numbers, they are exactly the same. Same number and the same sign. So that means, yes, these two lines, they are parallel. So these two lines, they are parallel. Number 13 has another two equations. So we do exactly the same thing. So when I rewrite the first equation, I have the negative 2y equal negative 3x plus 13. So y is equal 3 over 2x minus 13 over 2. Second equation, when I rewrite it, I have the 3y equal negative 2x minus 16. So y is equal negative 2/3 x minus 16 over 3. Now look at the slope number for both lines. The first equation, we have the slope number is 3 over 2 and 1. The second equation, the slope we have here is negative 2/3. When two lines they are perpendicular, that means they intersect as a 90 degree. So if this is a line 1, the slope of the line 1, this one must be a positive slope. The slope of the line 2, it must be a negative slope. So when the two lines they are perpendicular, one slope number is a positive, the other one must be a negative. And then the product of these two, they are equal negative 1. So that means the slope of the line 1 to multiply the slope of the line 2, the output must be equal negative 1. So now, in order to define whether the product of these two is a negative 1 or not, we just simply to multiply these two times negative 2/3. Now the output give us is a negative 1. So that means these two lines they are perpendicular. The line passing through these 2 points and the other line passing through these 2 points. Now we have to define they are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So we just use a formula to find the slope of these 2 points. So finding the slope of the first equation, we will have the, let me label this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we use the y2 to minus y1. We have the 7 minus 5 over negative 4 minus negative 20. Now we have 2 over 16, which is the slope of the first line is 1 over 8. Now we find the slope of the second equation. So the m2, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So when I have the y2 minus y1, I get a 4 minus 5 over 7 minus negative 5. So we have the negative 1 over 12. Now if you look at these two slope number, first, they are not the same. So they don't parallel, apparently, right? The product of these two, although this has the negative sign and this is a positive sign, however, when I multiply these two, 1 over 8 times negative 1 over 12, there is no way I will get a negative 1. And in fact, the output of these two is 1 over 96. This is not a negative 1. So therefore, they don't perpendicular. So only condition is neither. They don't parallel, they don't perpendicular. Find the equation of the line, the slope passing through the given point, and now you have to find the slope-intercept form. It gives us a pair. A pair of the point is negative a. This is x, this is y. And the slope number is 0. So with the slope number 0, I'm going to write down y equal m. It's a slope, right? It's 0. mx plus b. 0 multiplied by whatever number is 0. So we only have the b on the right hand side. Now b is negative 5. So b is equal to negative 5. And y equal b. Now we need to write down the equation. The slope-intercept form is mx plus b. And since m is 0, so there is no m. Plus b, just b. So y equal b, that means y equal negative 5. And in fact, the solution is 0 already. So y equal negative 5. Number 16. The cost of manufacturing model parts is related to the quantity of part produced during a production run. When 100 parts are produced, the cost is 300. Okay, so 100 parts produced, the cost is 300. When a 500 parts produced, the cost is 1900. So now we need to find, so we need to find the unit price or the average price. The average price per part. Okay. So let's do this way. I'm going to get the quantity. Okay. So they produce the X parts. Part 100 part has actually the unit price of the part. Unit price, there you go. Unit price of each per part. So that means 100 parts multiplied with the unit price, that would be the cost. I should put the unit cost, right? That makes sense. So X represents the unit cost of per part. So when they produce the 100 parts, the cost would be 100x equal 300. When they produce the 500 parts, so multiply with the cost of each part, the cost would be 1900. So now the only way we want to solve for the unit price per part. So we subtract. This is equation 1, this is equation 2. So I'm going to use the equation 2 to minus equation 1. So I get the 400x is equals 1600. Divide by 400, we get x equals 4. So this would be the unit price per part. Number 17. The rate of return of certain investments increases as the risk factor of the investment increases. An investment with a risk factor of 2 has a rate of return of 5%. An investment with a risk factor of 14 has a 15% of the return rate. What is the average rate of return per unit of risk? Now, look at the keyword here. The average rate of return. When you hear the wording like, for instance, the average rate of change, okay? The average rate of change. This is the same meaning of the slope. Okay, so now we need to find the slope to answer this question. A factor 2, the risk factor is 2, the return rate is 5%. When the risk factor was 14, the return rate is 15. Now we have 2 pair of the order. We have 2 points of the order pair. I can treat this as x1, y1. This would be x2, y2. Now we need to find the slope. In finding the slope, we use a formula, right? So y2 minus y1, we have the 15% minus 5%. Over x2 minus x1, we have 14 minus 2. Now the numerator give us is 10% and the denominator is 12. When you have the 10%, this is 0.1 divided by 12. It will give you approximately 0.0083. So when we run to the percentage, it gives us it's a 0.83%. So the average rate of return would be 0.83% per unit risk. Number 18, determine whether the given order set of number is a solution of system of equations. So this question is very easy to manipulate. You just simply to plug in the x value and the y value into the equation 1. As long as you get a negative 21 on the right hand side, then that would be the solution of the equation. And you also plug into second equation, and as long as you get a negative 38 on the right hand side, then that would be the solution of the second equation. So that means this order pair satisfy 2 equations when they have this kind of the format, if the right hand side number they are matched. Number 19 is exactly the same thing. This is x, this is y, this is z. So you substitute these 3 points into the equation 1, 2, and 3. For example, I substitute the negative 1 into here, minus 5 times 3 plus z is negative 1.5. So I solve for these 3, it give me negative 3 minus 15 minus 1.5, and there's no way I get a 0. So this one won't be a solution.